North Carolina have had on this league and this tournament. But tonight, this championship is all about Florida State and Georgia Tech. Which team can establish their way of playing in order to hang this banner in their respective gyms?
Bill Covington Jr., Ron Groover, Ted Valentine, the officials, and we're underway with the Seminoles winning the opening tip.
Georgia Tech starting out in their hybrid defense is what I would call it. It looks like a 1-3-1 to start. Then you make a pass. It looks like a 2-3, a 1-1-3. The key is you've got to penetrate it by the pass or by the dribble.
They go inside to Koprivica. He kicks it back out. Still 10 on the shot clock, and now a turnover. In transition, Usher lays it up and in, and the Jackets strike first.
You don't want to turn the ball over against Georgia Tech because it's 2-on-1s or 1-on-1s or sometimes 1-on-0s. And you cannot defend a run out. We've seen that in the first play of the game, not the start Florida State wanted to get off to.
If you have not seen that much of Georgia Tech, they play with a great spirit, and it all comes from the head of the snake, Jose Alvarado, who tips the ball out of bounds. The ACC Defensive Player of the Year, who has a will to win that is very uncommon.
Pursues the ball like few others, and terrific hands here by Jordan Usher. Takes it the other way. The transfer from USC not only gets the turnover, but is able to turn it into points. That's offense from defense.
Jay talked about how deep Florida State is. Georgia Tech will likely only play maybe 7 guys tonight. You could see Michael Devoe and Jose Alvarado each play the entire 40 minutes in this game.
Jose Alvarado is an absolute marvel. That steal he just made, if you show him the ball, if he gets a glimpse of it, beautiful pass. My goodness.
Usher inside to the ACC Player of the Year, Moses Wright, and Tech off to a great start.
Just a simple little ball screen roll, the pocket pass. Now here's the trap in the corner, and I'm not sure Florida State came into this expecting them to come after them this way. Georgia Tech is throwing haymakers right now.
Yep.
Just a little dribble handoff action, and then you see the ball screen, and instead of getting over it, MJ Walker just stuck to it, and that's just a beautiful pass. Koprivica is going to have to get way more pressure on the passer. If you're going to switch these things, you've got to pressure the ball and switch up to take something away. That time Florida State did not switch up, and it was way too easy. That was beautiful offense by Georgia Tech.
Each team won on its own home court against the other this year. Florida State won by 13 way back in the middle of December, and then Georgia Tech won by 11 in late January. A clean look for 3 there for Khalid Moore, but he can't knock it down. And back come the Seminoles, still looking to get on the board.
Jose Alvarado got a switch there. He had Koprivica on him, the 7-footer, and he's going to drive that. Another strip, almost steal. But anytime there's a switch, when Alvarado has a big guy on him, he's probably going to drive it. And I believe what Florida State has to do is make him go to the basket and finish. Don't come off of guys like Michael Devoe, whatever, Usher, where they can either cut or where they can get an open shot. Make Alvarado finish.
Jay Leonard Hamilton not liking what he's seeing, and he's making a couple of substitutions, including bringing in Scottie Barnes, who may not be a starter, but he's a finisher for Florida State.
Got a lot of length, also an outstanding defender. He can pass it. He walked the first one. Alvarado caused that. Just getting up underneath him. And when you say get up underneath a player, it's playing lower. Think of like walking around your kitchen and having a toddler underneath you. You know, you feel like you're going to trip over him all the time. And
I can relate.
Yeah, you can relate. It happens. But that's what Alvarado did. He won the battle of playing lower. And he plays low with leverage, too, because he's strong.
Remember, Josh Pastner said to us yesterday in our Zoom call with him that Alvarado wins the game from the knees down, to your point. Another good look for Moore. And he's missed a couple of threes, or Tech could have an even larger lead here in the early going.
One of the things that Florida State may want to adjust to is, well, first they've got to keep their feet on the floor and not fly around on every shot fake, and when somebody lifts their eyebrows, be flying past them. But I think they cannot overhelp. You know, you've got to stick with people and make the ball handler finish a play.
Tenor Engam in off the bench, misses the shot. Raekwon Gray with a putback, and the Seminoles on the board.
Raekwon Gray has had not a good year. He's had a great year. Just a fantastic all-around player. There's not one area of the game he dominates, but he does well in every area.
He can guard all 5 positions. He can probably play all 5 offensively as well. He's one of the best passers they have. Wright spins, hesitates, and a held ball will be the call. The possession arrow will keep it at this end of the floor.
Raquan Gray went to the basket. Here he's along the baseline behind the zone, and he had inside position. So when the ball went to Tenor Ngam, that meant that Moses Wright had to go up to pick up Ngam. I'm not sure he needs to go up there. If he wants to shoot that, you might just want to let him. But that opened up the offensive glass for Raquan Gray.
Michael Devoe, who scored 40 points in the 2 games against Florida State this year, with a tough turnaround for the Jackets.
Wait, Anthony Polite had him stopped, and then he allowed him to get an angle just by pivoting. And you can't do that. Just make him shoot over you. Don't give him an angle to the basket. Easier said than done, obviously, but you're going to have to do some hard things to win this game.
Anthony Polite for 3. Florida State leading the ACC in 3-point shooting this year, and Polite's one of their best at 44%.
Georgia Tech is attacking. That was a good job by Usher to break that pressure and take it in, even though Moses Wright walked with it. That's a positive, aggressive play. See, it looks like a 1-3-1 here. Now it looks like a 2-3. So you can't get caught up in trying to identify. You just have to make a play against it, and that's a bad pass. Where is Ngam going to go with that? He's trying to hold off, and then you're throwing it toward the basket.
Both of these teams safely in the dance. Sure, a win tonight might help their seeding, but really this is about hanging a banner and winning a championship. Florida State, which came into the ACC in 1992, has won 1 ACC championship. That was in 2012. Of course, last year they were declared the ACC champions because they were the regular season champs and there was no tournament. Georgia Tech trying to win the ACC tournament for the first time since 1993. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by New York Life, helping people act on their love for 175 years. And Carvana, the new way to buy a car. And they're going to take a bit away from somebody, Jay.
Ethan Thompson, the son of Stevie Thompson, the best 6'4" power forward in Big East history, leads the way for Oregon State. That would be a huge win, obviously, for the Oregon State program and Wayne Tinkle.
A 1-point lead in the early going for the Yellow Jackets here in the ACC championship game. Alvarado knocks it down. Not only was he the defensive player of the year and second team All-ACC, but let's not shortchange him offensively. Better than 15 points per game and shot 51% from the field, which is a terrific number for a guard.
Yeah, and it's not just all layups. I mean, you could tell just from that jump shot, he's a good shooter and knocks down his free throws at an incredibly high rate. But that switch, and Ngam switched off, but he's got to switch right up into Alvarado. If he goes past him, it's just going to be a tough 2. That was just too easy to let him walk into that shot that way.
Again, this is a very feisty, spirited bunch, Georgia Tech. You can see the effort they give on every possession. That'll happen every now and again as well, but boy, do they get after you.
Watch this switch now. Alvarado's going to get the ball screen by Moses Wright, and Ngam just kind of retreats, and Alvarado's able to just, easily step into that shot as if that was a shot in warmups. Now, there was late pressure on it, of course. It wasn't like it wasn't defended, but you really have to switch up on these guys and put some pressure on them, make it really difficult. If they go by you, then you're going to have help, and Ngam can also put late pressure on a shot and make it a really tough 2 instead of that.
Baseline jumper for Malik Osborne not there. Koprivica back into the game. Coming off a great night last night against the Tar Heels, and a tip back up and in. A couple of Seminoles were there. We'll wait and see who they give it to. And it is Koprivica who gets credit for the bucket to bring him back within 1.
Yeah, he tipped it in with that left hand, and Koprivica had 17 points, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks against North Carolina. That's 12 blocks in his last 7 games. But his mobility is really impressive. The way he can not only run, but the way he can move side to side, and he can jump out and switch and stay in front of someone on 2 or 3 dribbles.
Rodney Howard, a 6'10" sophomore, a transfer from Georgia, has come into the game for Georgia Tech. as they get a little bit bigger. And now Moses Wright actually moves back to the position that he is accustomed to playing. But this year, Jay, he's played more 5 than 4 when Josh Pastner made an early lineup change.
Yeah, he used to play the 4 alongside James Banks, who was an amazing shot blocker. Those two formed a pretty good rim protecting duo. But really the position that you play, it has more to do with who you guard than what you do on the offensive end.
Here comes Bubba Parham now into the game. 5'10" senior from Snellville, Georgia. Don't forget to check out our alternate angle of tonight's game, the New York Life Above the Rim Cam, streaming live on the ESPN app.
Perfectly timed to be above the rim, just throwing over the top when it looked like a 1-3-1. When that was the alignment, there was no pressure on Scottie Barnes, and he just threw right over the top. So you're leaning toward Koprivica, and they threw over the top to Polite, and he caught it below the rim and wound up getting above it. Rodney Howard just leaning more toward Koprivica. That opened it up. Really good pass by a very good passer in Scottie Barnes.
And a guy who at 6'9" can see everything. What an advantage that is for a guy who played more inside in high school, but has really gotten used to being more of a point guard. I mean, he's got great passing skills, but he's made a big adjustment this year and was named the ACC Freshman of the Year. Devoe's in a little bit of trouble. Finds Alvarado. Floater, short. Got it back.
That's the way you want to guard Alvarado. Make him finish that tough 2.
And now Ted Valentine blew the whistle, walking over to Ron Groover. This may be a shot clock situation, whether or not that ball hit the rim. And yes, the officials are going to have a look on it to see whether or not the shot clock should have been reset. It did. So they'll reset it to 19. You know, in an oddity caused by the Duke and Virginia situations in this tournament, each of these teams, Jay, as you well know, only won 1 game to get here. Very unusual. Each should have played 2, but due to the cancellations. So, you know, the legs probably a little bit fresher than they typically are on the Saturday night in the ACC.
Yeah, no advantage gained by either team in that regard. Both these teams staying in the same hotel. The top 4 seeds stayed in the same hotel, and everybody else stayed in another one.
Rebound down to Polite. A great start for the Jackets, but now it's Florida State by 2 with the ball.
You really have to start driving some of these gaps. Now it's gone back to man-to-man.
How tough is it on the offensive team when you play a team like Georgia Tech and they can switch it up every possession?
Yeah, it is difficult. You know, used to do a lot of this stuff as Louisville when Rick Pitino was there. They would show zone, and then it would go man. If the ball went to the high post, if it got below a certain level of the shot clock, you go man, and it really got you screwed up. It was a rhythm-busting type of defense, and you're spending so much time trying to figure it out instead of just make basketball plays and make reads.
Moses Wright with a block at the other end, is 39th on the season. Shot clock under 10. Devoe with a drive. Good fake. Good kick. Usher for 3. Not there.
Good late pressure by Malik Osborne. I'm not sure he should have come that far off of a corner shooter, even though that's going to be an offensive foul.
And it is.
But I'm not sure Osborne should have come that far off a corner shooter, even though it was on the weak side. You really have to play off 2 feet on this. You hear oftentimes somebody say, well, you know, he was out of control, as if that factors in. You know, there's nothing in the rules that say you have to be in control. The question is, was the defense there and set with legal guarding position?
6th turnover for the Seminoles. Wyatt Wilkes into the game now for Florida State, number 31, a good outside shooter.
And a very smart player with a high basketball IQ.
Devoe looking for Wright. What a story he is. Winning ACC Player of the Year this year. A little bit strong on the jump hook, and then he's called for a foul, trying to go after the rebound. 2-point lead, Florida State in the early going.
Hit it, so I hit the shot.
This is my twin standing beside me.
That's how we rock. Basically, we got pumped. They're not beating us at the foul line.
I kept screaming, it's March, it's March.
There's always so much action and so much intrigue and some upsets and just a lot going on in Champ Week. And this is always one of the signature events, the ACC tournament. This is the championship game between Florida State and Georgia Tech. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Allison Williams. Very glad you're with us here at the Greensboro Coliseum as Koprivica lays it in and ups the lead to 4.
Really good pass by Wyatt Wilkes, and Jose Alvarado had taken all vision away at the start of that play. Scottie Barnes couldn't really see anything, but Wilkes was able to see over the top of Devoe. Devoe was down low but didn't have his hands up to take away that vision, and he just threw over the top of Moses Wright and led Koprivica into his move and to the basket. That was a beautiful pass.
And Wright at 6'9", Koprivica 7'1", and you could see it on that play. And again, as Jay mentioned, Koprivica coming off a heck of a game against North Carolina last night. Now a switch. Devoe driving into the chest of the big man. And it's a turnover. No foul call, and it's off Devoe.
I think that's what Florida State has to do every time they get a switch. Make Alvarado drive it. Make Devoe, who is not, he does not usually get his own shot. And those two got their arms tangled up. And I'm not sure whether it was Devoe kind of grabbing onto that arm or whether it was Koprivica doing it, but it didn't matter. Nothing got called. But I think that's the right. Make them take tough twos so they can't play drive and kick on you.
Look at the size on the floor for Florida State at all 5 positions right now. Georgia Tech in transition. And Wright on the follow.
What a rebound. That's at least 7 turnovers now for Florida State. They are so loose with the ball of late. 18 turnovers against North Carolina. They had 21 turnovers against Georgia Tech in Atlanta.
Raquan Gray with a soft touch from the baseline.
Raquan Gray over his last 13 games, about 15 points per game. He has really turned into an outstanding player in every aspect of the game.
Redshirt junior, named 3rd team All ACC. Boy, Usher passed up a good look, but maybe he knew that Khalid Moore was due to knock one down.
Boy, that was a really good pass by Moses Wright, and then the extra pass.
Look at the position for Koprivica. Kind of faded away on the turnaround, though. Might have had a little help from Wright fading away there. And here come the Jackets looking for the lead. Kyle Sturdivant, 6'2" sophomore from Norcross, Georgia. And we get a foul call going against the Seminoles.
Cutter, then second cutter, and Gray stayed after his cutter left the lane. Smart play by Raquan Gray.
Well, it is upon us. Selection Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Tomorrow, bracketology with Reese Davis, LaFonso Ellis, Seth Greenberg, Dickie V, and Jay Billis. SportsCenter gets it started at 5:15 as Reese and the guys reveal the NCAA men's field of 68 as the teams are announced. And obviously, there's still some things we don't know, like is Virginia going to be okay? And there's talk now, even quietly, and I don't know that they have a case. I don't think they have a case for an at-large, but talk now that maybe Duke is back in the conversation, even though it appeared their season was over. But if we focus more on Virginia, I mean, obviously a team that would have a high seed and all that, we don't know how many players are impacted and what the contact tracing is like, and I don't know when we're going to find out. Sometime between now and when the field is given out tomorrow.
Well, yeah, we'll know. We should know by tonight, because all teams have to let the NCAA Selection Committee know by 11 p.m. this evening whether they can meet all the protocols. I think Virginia and Kansas are both going to meet the protocols that way, and it won't be a problem.
And as long as you can field a team with 5 players, you can play in the NCAA tournament as MJ Walker knocks one down for Florida State.
Yeah, it turns out that the committee says you don't even need coaches. If you have 5 players, there's no rules as to whether you have to have a coach. I'm sure there are a lot of players that would go, I'll sign up for that. I wouldn't mind playing with no coaches.
Usher got the switch. Wright had to adjust it. And here come the Seminoles. It's Walker.
That was a great play by Wyatt Wilkes to challenge that shot.
Boy, they're coming after the ball every chance they get, aren't they?
Yeah, they go to steal it. Yeah. They're not just trying to bother you and stay in front. They're trying to take the ball from you. And they do it in a way without fouling that much.
And another turnover. That is the 8th committed by the Seminoles.
Yeah, it's almost like Georgia Tech's, like Florida State is a base runner, and Georgia Tech keeps throwing to first and just takes them totally out of thinking about stealing second or running the bases. They're constantly bothering you so that you can't find openings to hurt them. It's really impressive defensively.
And it worked well enough for them to have a 16-8 record this year.
Oh, what a block. My goodness. That is a big-time block from behind by Balsa Koprivica. Hurt that hand. Might be worth it. My goodness, what a great block. Pinned it to the rim.
And you could see him favoring that right thumb immediately after the block, obviously dealing with some discomfort.
That was a big-time block. Yeah, he's definitely hurt. He's still holding it. Good one.
Right inside. Nice two-man game with Devoe.
The give and go still works, doesn't it? This little rub off the post there. Beautiful pass.
I like it. We've had a Jimmy Chitwood reference and a give and go reference. It's an old school broadcast tonight. Travel is the call.
Yeah, the old school broadcast for radio, which is where our looks belong.
One of the highlights of Champ Week, the ACC championship game, and it's a one-point game between Florida State and Georgia Tech.
He'll probably pick up. If not, you'll hear this pick-me-up.
Hello, this is Josh Pastner. Life is short. We spend so much time sweating the small stuff, worrying, wishing, wanting, waiting for something bigger, instead of focusing on the simple blessings that surround us every day. Life is so fragile, and it takes a single moment to change everything you take for granted. Focus on what's important and be grateful. Live your life with no regrets. I'm not in right now, but if you leave your name and telephone number clearly, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day, a positive day, and a day filled with gratitude.
It's fantastic stuff. The most impressive part of the whole thing is the seamless segue to, I'm not in right now, please. but this is who Josh Pastner is. Like, that's not an act. He's, every single time I've ever talked with him, and I'm sure you would say the same thing, Jay, the glass, never mind the glass is half full, the glass is overflowing.
Yeah, he's a great guy, but my thing would be, if life is so short, why such a long message?
And he says, if you leave a message clearly, you know, do me a favor, leave an unclear message and tell me if he's annoyed when he calls you. You know, a guy who walked on at Arizona, always wanted to be a coach back to the time when he was a kid, was an assistant initially under Lute Olson at Arizona, eventually went to Memphis. John Calipari hired him to go to Memphis, and then a year later is when Cal went to Kentucky, and Josh Pastner, by the age of 31, became a head coach at Memphis. He's 43. He looks 26, but he's in his 12th year as a head coach.
Yeah, and really made an intelligent move, I think, going with John Calipari. Just a different way, you know, learning something different under a different coach. He coached so long and played for the great, truly great Lute Olson, one of the not only great coaches, but great human beings I've ever known. But I was really impressed that he made that decision to go with Cal, and it was just learning a different way. And then obviously became the head coach at Memphis, and yeah, he's had a vision to be a head coach since he was a kid. I'll tell you, Dan, one thing that I think Florida State needs to do a little bit better job of is staying on the floor for shot fakes. They've been flying by. Whenever Georgia Tech gives a pass fake, shot fake, they're reacting to it. And see here on a closeout, you know, little shot fake, and all of a sudden Wyatt Wilkes, who's a very smart player on both ends of the floor, is gone. And now all of a sudden you have to help up. There can be a drop off. That was an excellent shot. But we've seen a lot of that, of leaving the floor on a fake. Not leaving your feet. You don't leave your feet. The great Steve Yoder told me that once. Said, why do you keep saying leave your feet? You leave the floor, your feet go with you.
Koprivica out, and I watched him after he made the first free throw. You know how you go and you give a little low five to your teammate in the lane. he balled his hand up into a fist, Jay, and kind of did it with the inside of his wrist. He's really favoring that right thumb right now as Ngom comes in to take his place.
You can see he's been grabbing that ever since he blocked that shot from behind on Moses Wright and pinned it, essentially pinned it to the front of the rim. He's been holding that thumb.
Tech back into the zone. Barnes with a nice look to Polite. He's got time. Left it way short, and it's saved by Alvarado.
Is there any ball below the rim that Jose Alvarado does not get to? No. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible.
Remember the save at the end of the Miami game where he ran all the way across the court, saved it, came back in bounds, and then made like a 50-foot pass to a teammate for a dunk. That was the, the dagger at the end of the game, the big bucket they needed. Parham a good look, and they needed that. A three for Bubba Parham to get him back within one.
Great ball movement by Georgia Tech and over help by Florida State. And Georgia Tech got away with a walk on that Devoe drive in the middle. Florida State with yet another turnover, and you cannot guard that. You cannot guard a run out. These turnovers are killing Florida State.
Parham forced the turnover, and Devoe with about a 45-foot bounce pass to a fired-up Jose Alvarado. And a concerned Leonard Hamilton looking on. A little run here by the Jackets. Welcome back, Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Allison Williams, Greensboro, North Carolina, and Georgia Tech on the strength of its defense, forcing some turnovers and turning them into points at the other end, Jay.
Yeah, just a bad pass by the freshman Scottie Barnes that led to an easy layup, a 1-on-0 on the other end. And you're not going to be able to make those straight line passes, and you certainly have to be stronger with the ball. Alvarado almost knocked that away again from Barnes, and I think you have to drive into these gaps rather than try to see. That's a good drive, just one hard dribble, but you got to be strong with it. This team goes for steals, man. They are not trying to bother you. They're trying to take it away from you.
And they average just over 9 steals per game. That leads the ACC as we get a foul on Florida State at the other end. There are some teams, you referenced it a little bit earlier, where if you're the other coach, you almost have to say, guys, this is going to be no fun, but you got to go do it. Remember, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Bob Huggins' teams at West Virginia, they were no fun to play against. Different than this, but I would imagine that this is, as you've said, this is a difficult team to play against because they're always right up in your grill.
Yeah, every possession seems like it's some kind of Rubik's Cube you're trying to solve with the zone they're playing, and then how aggressive they are in that matchup zone.
Leonard Hamilton and the Seminoles trying to figure out how to solve the riddle. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by SoFi. Get your money right.
Audi halftime report is coming up. Reese, Fonz, and Seth here. A Big East bid steal. How about Patrick Ewing's going to the tournament? Texas took care of business against Oklahoma State, and we've got a defensive struggle going on here.
No question about it. I love that zone that Georgia Tech is playing right now. Florida State's having all kinds of problems trying to solve it, Seth.
The hardest thing is you can't simulate their zone in your practice because you can't play it like that, and you can't simulate it for sure when you don't have any time to prepare for it. Georgia Tech disrupting the rhythm of the game.
And it's a close one, a 1-point lead for the Yellow Jackets. 4.5 to go here in the first half. Moore surrounded, finds Devoe for 3. Just a little bit strong, but tipped back out.
Long rebounds. How about this? Florida State shooting 50% from the field, 50% from 3, and 100% from the free throw line. And they're down.
Yeah. And it's the turnovers. 11 turnovers have led to 12 points, and you give Devoe enough opportunities, he's going to knock one down, and once he knocks one down, he can really get going. Again, he scored 40 points in the 2 games against Florida State this season.
I just don't think you can leave him. Michael Devoe is not going to create his own offense. He's going to get it off of others, so I don't think you can leave him. Make Alvarado finish.
And another Seminole turnover. Devoe's got Koprivica on him.
And he may try to drive this, but he's probably going to drive to pass.
No Wright in the game right now for Tech. Moore with a drive and a kick. Parham a deep one. And he runs it down. An uncontested offensive rebound for a 5'10" guy, and he lays it back in.
Right now, the Florida State minds are just spinning out there. They're thinking everything instead of reacting. And you give all the credit to Georgia Tech. They have taken every bit of rhythm away from Florida State. Basketball is a game of rhythm. Establish yours, disrupt theirs.
And a big bucket for Florida State as MJ Walker, the senior, knocks down a three.
What an outstanding player he is. I just love watching MJ Walker play. He didn't play particularly well against North Carolina. It's 6 turnovers to go with 9 points, but he can take off at any time and put 20 on you.
From Riverdale, Georgia. Former McDonald's All-American who's had a terrific career in Tallahassee, and now a tie-up will give it back to the Seminoles.
Florida State was running all over the place on their last defensive possession, and then everybody goes after the ball, and Polite is chasing the ball. Why? And then he ran the other way instead of going back. You can't leak out until your team has the ball. That's an example, Dan, of overhelping that I've been talking about. Polite didn't need to go in there and do that.
How about Scottie Barnes leaning in and drawing a foul as well? Big time play by Barnes.
Scottie Barnes has got a ton of talent. Top 5 in the ACC assists. He just wiped away Bubba Parham there. Used that left elbow and said,
yeah.
It's like he's opening a door.
And poor old Parham got called for the foul. You can see the look on Alvarado's face like, are you kidding me?
Next time I won't hit his elbow with my face. Sorry.
Barnes, tremendously talented freshman, projected as a lottery pick should he decide to go pro. We mentioned the freshman of the year in the ACC, the 6th man of the year in the ACC, and just a wonderful upbeat personality that you can see rubs off on a lot of his teammates.
I think it was the first rookie of the year for Florida State since Bobby Sura did it.
Well, Georgia Tech's getting some pretty good looks from 3. The Seminoles, in a sense, may be fortunate to be tied. Another one. Wow. Alvarado for 3.
I mean, you need a security guard to handle the ball when you're around Jose Alvarado. There should be wanted posters of him because he steals everything. It's ridiculous.
Averaged about 3 steals per game, one of the top marks in the country. And Koprivica, maybe the thumb a problem, threw that one about 15 feet over the head of his teammate.
Manute Bol could not have caught that. Just a tremendous nose for the ball. I don't even know what you call that. That's a special skill to be able to read that and reach from behind. And it's not like Anthony Polite was making an inside hand change or something, and a lot of guards look for that. They know how to take it away, but he's just got an unbelievable understanding of how to take the ball away from somebody. It's really incredible.
Let's bring in Allison.
Well, guys, you can see just how tenacious and quick Alvarado is, and a lot of that, he says, is because of the boxing he did growing up with his dad. That's how he did his training. He said it helped my mindset, my conditioning. It made my reflexes quicker. I asked him if he ever got out there and sparred with his dad, though. He said, yeah, one time he hit me, never again.
Barnes, who does not shoot the 3-ball well, just 26% of the season, knocks one down here, and the Seminoles retake the lead.
Barnes is one of those players that just does what's necessary in the moment.
Nice look away by Alvarado. A lot of contact, but they play on.
That's the way to defend Alvarado. Make him finish with a tough 2.
Polite. Even though Georgia Tech is not deep, they never look like they're tired out there. Parham way short on the 3. The Jackets now just 3 for 14 from beyond the arc. And Parham's trying to guard Koprivica. Florida State can't get him the ball.
Georgia Tech very fortunate there. That was not a good shot by Bubba Parham. You take a shot like that, that's basically starting Florida State's fast break. So now Georgia Tech can take the last shot.
Close as it was expected to be between these two. Devoe, the lefty, soft touch up and in, and Tech will take a 1-point lead into halftime.
Florida State trailing only by 1. But the 14 turnovers led to a ton of Georgia Tech opportunities where they didn't have to play against Florida State's defense. They could play ahead of the defense and in front of it. A lot of runouts, and you cannot guard a runout. Turnover after turnover. Now, some of them were Jose Alvarado being just a special defender and taking it away. Others were just giving it away, at least from Leonard Hamilton's perspective. But Florida State going to have to do a much better job in the second half of taking care of the ball. Maybe they should get a security guard to protect that ball if Jose Alvarado is going to be taking it from him.
19 points off those 14 turnovers in the first half. 19 of the 31 points for the Jackets coming off turnovers. Leonard Hamilton obviously can't be happy about that, but kind enough to stop by and talk with Allison Williams.
Coach Hamilton, how do you address the turnovers with your team at the half?
Well, we couldn't have played any worse. The only thing I can say good is that that's about as bad as we can play in terms of handling the ball. So it got to be all uphill from there. Can't get any lower.
Are there any?
We turned the ball over unconsciously. Now you got to give them credit. They a scrappy bunch, and they reach and they grab and they slap, and we weren't very strong with the ball. That's kind of uncharacteristic of us. I think we feel. I'm very fortunate that we only 1 point down. I mean, we needed the last second shot, then we took a shot with 14 seconds on the shot. That just shows that right now we're not very focused right now. Hopefully we'll get a better mindset coming out at halftime.
Coach Hamilton, thank you.
Thank you.
Dan.
All right, Allison, thank you. Yeah, as he says, could be worse than it is. They're only down to 1. Let's head now to the studio for the halftime report. So much to talk about back there, along with Seth Greenberg and LaFonso Ellis. Here's Reese Davis.
There are times when coaches, they don't have to really say anything. The players already know. Then there are other times when they might make their point more strongly. I think this is one of those times for Leonard. Just listening, just guessing. You think he's going to let that?
I used to say, hey, this is what we got to do. We got to take care of X, Y, and Z. I'll tell you, took care of business.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing in Georgetown took care of business. They absolutely, they opened an industrial-sized strength can of whoop, you-know-what, on Creighton's rear end.
Well, they need to come in this game and not turn the basketball over. Only 12 turnovers in this game and be efficient from the three-point line. They were 10 of 26, the leading three-point field goal percentage shooting team in that conference.
Patrick Ewing at Madison Square Garden lifting a trophy. Just how desperate were the Knicks for that for years and years?
They were desperate. I'll tell you who else is desperate. Those teams on the first 4 out, because they have no chance getting in if bubbles keep on getting burst.
And don't misunderstand. Georgetown had no shot. That's a flat bid steal right there from the Hoyas. The Hoyas hadn't had a 3-game winning streak all year until the Big East tournament. Now they won 4 in a row, and they're going dancing. How about that?
It's incredible. And just the way they're playing. Dante Harris doing a great job at the point. Blair's knocking down big-time shots, big-time win.
All right, Audi halftime report is already rolling. We had a tremendous game in the Big 12 title match between Oklahoma State and Texas. Cade Cunningham got in some foul trouble in the first half. Oklahoma State fell behind. They came roaring back.
They did in the second half. The story of this game was Texas's Matt Coleman. We've been critical of his play all year long. He stepped up big tonight, making plays, 30 points in this game.
The development of Jericho Sims absolutely incredible. He has 20 points for the game. The other thing is this Texas team got to the line. All right, 15 more made free throws than Oklahoma State. I thought it would be the other way around coming into this game.
How about Kai Jones?
Oh, please.
A lot
of those tonight.
Exclamation point. Texas has been 0-6 in Big 12 championship games. Now Shaka's got one, 91-86. You mentioned Coleman with 30 in a Big 12 tournament game. Only one other Longhorn has done that.
It's pretty good, huh?
Kevin Durant. But in Kevin Durant's game, they did not win. At Coleman's game, they did. In Texas, it's the automatic
looking
bid.
for Jericho Sims.
In the Big Ten semifinal day, Ohio State and Michigan, Isaiah Livers, stress injury to his foot. They're saying out indefinitely. What does that mean for the tournament? Don't know yet. What it meant against Ohio State, C.J. Walker put the Bucks up by 12.
Yeah, then Dwayne Washington Jr. got it going. Duke can score anywhere on the floor. Knock down threes, come off screens, make his own shot. He had 24 in this game.
That led the Bucks. And then Chauncey Brown, his only bucket brought Michigan within 1.
His only 3. And think about this. They were 4 for 27 from the field. The perimeter guys without Livers. Livers is a guy that makes everyone else better, makes the game simple for everyone.
Mike Smith had a good look. He's had such a great season. Didn't have a good day shooting, just 1 of 11. Ohio State advances to the championship game, 68-67. And Illinois, I tell you what, Kofi Coburn, Ayo Dosunmu, sensational again. DeSumo not too far away from a triple-double. And now Ohio State plays Illinois in the championship game, and Chris Holtmann, the head coach of the Buckeyes, at 28. Arkansas got it back to within 4. And JT Note, it's Justin Smith, and it looked as if LSU was crumbling.
It did look like it.
Champ Week presented by SoFi and the 2021 New York Life ACC Tournament. The story of the first half. Georgia Tech forcing turnovers time after time after time, and then turning it into offense at the other end. 14 Florida State turnovers, becoming 19 Georgia Tech points. You know who likes that? Jose Alvarado likes that. That's who. Because that is the big story of the game, and that's why the 4 seed, the Yellow Jackets, have a 1-point lead on the 2 seed, the Seminoles, heading into the second half here with the ACC championship game. Welcome back once again, Dan Schulman and Jay Billis. As Leonard Hamilton said to Allison, if they want to win this game, they got to clean it up.
Got to be stronger with the ball. And look, we can say all these coaching things about how to handle the ball and how to go against pressure, but you have to marvel at Jose Alvarado. He is an absolute marvel. Really an incredible basketball player to be as alert as he is to the ball. And we said at the beginning of the game, everything above the rim, Moses Wright takes care of. Everything below the rim, Alvarado's got.
Yeah.
It's almost like Gary Maddox. Remember we just talked about Gary Maddox, that 3/4 of the earth are covered by water and the rest is covered by Gary Maddox. That's like Jose Alvarado.
You saw the New York Life first half stats. Florida State shot well, just didn't shoot often because they kept turning it over. Let's find out how Tech felt about the first half. Here's Allison Williams.
This is who we are. That's what Josh Pastner said at the half about his team's ability to force those 14 turnovers. He said, that is our culture, and I'm really proud of our guys' ability to come out here and execute that game plan. It's about being gritty, being tough, and grinding it out. We've been great defensively because of our activity. That has to continue in the second half.
Now, Allison, did you talk to Josh, or was that off his voicemail message?
I'd still be listening to it if it was.
Alvarado misses an early 3, out of bounds to the Yellow Jackets. One first half note on that guy right there, Jose Alvarado. He did not come out of the game, played all 20 minutes, didn't shoot it well, 2 for 7 in the first half, 4 points, 4 rebounds, did not turn it over at all in the first half though. Usher sizing up Raquan Gray, trying to drive a little running hook. Looked good, but left it a little bit short.
I believe that's what Florida State's defense wants to force. One-on-one plays that are made over a single defender. Tough twos instead of over-helping and then letting Georgia Tech kick out to open shooters.
And if they can make shots over the length of the Seminoles, you tip your cap?
Yeah, you tip your cap and you say, hey, that was a difficult 2 instead of an open 3.
Raquan Gray pulling his way into the paint, foul before the shot.
This is going back a ways, and I probably should think of something different with this, but every time I see Raquan Gray put the ball on the deck and take it into traffic, I think of Earl Campbell carrying a football. You know, that if you have the guts to tackle Earl Campbell, it's going to hurt you more, it's going to hurt him.
Look him up, kids. Go to the Google and click on videos, and you'll see Earl Campbell. Boy, he was something.
The Google machine.
Yeah. A friendly bounce to put the Seminoles back on top on the 3 by Walker. Again, Florida State has won 1 ACC tournament championship. That was in 2012. Michael Snare was the MVP. Georgia Tech, you got to go back a ways. They've been in the league longer. They've won 3, 1985, 1990, and 1993. And we were reminiscing about some of those great Georgia Tech teams that Bobby Cremins had in the 80s. Mark Price, John Sally, Bruce Dalrymple, Tom Hammonds, and a little bit later on, Kenny Anderson, of course, just great teams.
Well, their teams in the mid-'80s, with all respect to Lethal Weapon 3, I don't think there are any teams better now. Ooh, what a drive. Nobody picked them up. Everybody caught sort of hugging up on their man. But this is a little bit of a different look and some furrowed brows on Florida State faces.
And I'm sure Leonard Hamilton challenged them a little bit at halftime, and they've come out with a little fire inside them, it looks like, here to start the second half. Florida State's had a great year, 16-5, 11-4 in the league, the 2 seed. And there's a block by Koprivica, but look at Wright staying with it and drawing the foul.
Florida State challenging. Great throw back, then they got it into Moses Wright. The first block then goes up, really got a second. Looked like it was Raquan Gray that fouled. And anytime you've got a shot blocker like Koprivica behind you, you don't want to foul here. Let him wipe it away or challenge it. That had to be on Gray.
It is, and it's his third, and that's a loss for Florida State. He's getting ready to check out. Malik Osborne's going to come in, and Osborne, very good player, made 3 threes last night. But Gray gives them a unique skill set, all in one player.
I can't believe that Moses Wright used to be a tennis player. I mean, can you imagine him at the net?
I know.
He's bigger than Goran Ivanisevic.
A late bloomer when it comes to basketball, but he's got better and better every single year, and the conference player of the year here is a senior. Koprivica, strong move, but Wright got him. Koprivica again, and it's a held ball. The arrow keeps it here, but what a great job defensively by Moses Wright.
Yeah, 2 really good blocks, but a strong move by Koprivica. And he doesn't try to avoid the block shot. Oftentimes, this close quarters, if you get the shot blocked, you're going to get it back. So he wasn't worried about that. And just a great defensive play, 2 of them, by Moses Wright.
Dangerous pass near the midcourt line, but the Seminoles retain possession. The shot clock is at 8. Evans trying to penetrate. Koprivica lays it in.
Poise. Koprivica didn't panic when he got that ball, just caught it and went up with a nice rhythm. He's got a lot of game, and he's getting better and better.
Devoe with a drive and lays it in. The lefty gets it done with a right hand. Still trying to size up this defense that's, as Jay said, starts as a 1-3-1, then it looks like a 2-3. Boy, Koprivica's getting after it, isn't he?
Well, the ball's moving, and then he's doing a good job of getting position and making a quick move once he gets the ball. But Florida State's done a much better job of spreading and attacking. One hard dribble and then moving the ball.
Good look in the corner for Moore, but it won't fall.
Florida State was very fortunate there. MJ Walker came off of the corner, and really that was an overhelp situation, I think.
And Tech continues to struggle from beyond the arc, just 3 for 16. A look at the last couple of buckets for the Seminoles as Koprivica shows some finesse and then shows finesse with a little bit of force on this move, Jay.
Yeah, catches it and then goes right into his move and gets all the way across the lane. Now, that wasn't against Moses Wright, so that's a lot easier of a move to make.
Usher in the corner. 3 for 17 now from 3-point range.
And they've missed some open ones. That's a tough pass there.
Wow, and a great save by Usher to Wright.
It looked open, but you have to watch the backside of the defense in making that pass. Another flyby.
And Devoe misses a 3. Seminoles by 4 early in the second half. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by SoFi. Get your money right. At 8:30 Eastern on True TV, 6:20 and 9:50 Eastern on TBS. Every game of the tournament is on TBS, CBS, TNT, and True TV, or stream games on the March Madness Live app. Well, it's that time. Selection Sunday is tomorrow. Teams are beginning to arrive in Indianapolis. Everybody's got the protocols. You have to have 7 consecutive days of negative testing to get to Indianapolis. You go into the bubble, and hopefully everybody who goes stays and is able to play. A number of tickets have already been punched today. Maybe the most notable one up there is Georgetown in the Big East. They dismantled Creighton today in the championship game. I don't know what's gotten into Patrick Ewing's guys. Maybe it was that You know, when the security guards at Madison Square Garden didn't know who he was and asked him for a credential, maybe his players rallied around him.
Maybe so. Malik Osborne hits a 3 from the corner. He had 3 threes in the first half against North Carolina last night. And he is a good shooter as basically a stretch 4, stretch 5.
Don't forget. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, another notable on that list, Ohio winning the MAC. Jason Preston is their point guard. He averages 16 points, about 7 rebounds, 7 assists. He's sort of the LaMelo Ball of college basketball, I believe, and he's going to be heard from in the NCAA tournament.
Another big Steeler opportunity after us tonight, the Pac-12 championship game, Colorado and Oregon State. The Beavers, if they win, get the automatic bid, obviously, but if they lose, they're not going, so they're trying to steal a bid from somebody. Both of these teams, of course, are in the field. For what it's worth, Joe Lunardi has the Seminoles as a 4 right now. He's got the Yellow Jackets as a 10.
10 is better than 9 or 8, I think. Yep. You don't have to play a 1 seed in your second game, assuming you win the first.
Do you think we know who the 4 1s are with what happened today in the Big Ten? Do you think it's locked in who the 4
yes.
number 1 seeds are?
Yes.
I agree.
Michigan, Illinois, and then Baylor Gonzaga. It's over. That was a foul. That's a foul.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And they get Ngom eventually.
That was a foul. I mean, Polite got fouled. He got hit there on the way down.
Ngom didn't leave much to the imagination, but then tried to sell it as a held ball. Well, Georgia Tech needs a little bit of a spark offensively. They have been getting all kinds of open threes, but can't make any of them here in the second half.
Usher in the deep corner, so same with Alvarado. That's a walk there.
Josh Pastner in his pregame interview with Allison talked about the opportunity the Yellow Jackets have here tonight. He said 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, you win tonight, you can always say to people, hey, you're the ACC champions.
Well, you can say it to people anyway, but if you win it, it's true.
So you say it to them, but if you lost, you say, no, don't look at that pass.
My goodness.
This is a different Florida State team here in the second half, isn't it?
An attacking Florida State team, and Malik Osborne could have gone up with that himself, but instead just passed it right to Ngom for that easy dunk.
Ngom, the senior from Senegal, who played 3 years at Ryerson University in Toronto, has decided he would like, remember this is a free year for everybody, he's coming back next year. Both he and Nathaniel Jack have said they want to come back for a 5th year. Moses Wright making a point for the Jackets.
Boy, and a heck of a pass underneath to get it to Wright. So Devoe underneath just gives that little bounce pass and a lot of contact up top, but it was perhaps fortunate that the referees didn't call that initial contact, but he goes up, gets it, and then gets fouled again.
Boy, Ngom did kind of a good job walling up, but then he didn't put a body on Wright. He just kind of looked at the ball when it was up on the rim, and Wright walked right around him.
Yeah, it's tough when you're doing that to have to turn around and get a box out. But you bring those arms down. I mean, big guys are pretty good at, using, walling up and then bringing their arms down and getting contact, kind of fouling with your chest a little bit. And that's a harder thing for officials. They don't call that as often or as well. They're doing better than they used to. It used to never get called.
Wright was very frustrated after missing that free throw. He is 0 for 3 from the line tonight, and those are the only 3 free throw attempts Georgia Tech has had in the game.
And what a great switch up by Jose Alvarado.
Osborne had to force, and it's a shot clock violation.
Alvarado almost had that by himself. I mean, he forced Scottie Barnes so far out on the floor, forced him to turn his back. Then when he switched, he would switch right up into the ball handler, not let him turn the corner, not give him any space.
There was a moment late in the Miami game of the quarterfinals where Alvarado and Isaiah Wong banged knees late in the first half. And Alvarado had to be helped to the locker room, but came out for the second half, played the whole second half, played well, and helped Georgia Tech to a hard-fought win over Jim Larenega's team. That's the only game the Jackets played in this tournament because they got to bye into the quarters, and then Virginia had to withdraw from the semis.
Florida State being very aggressive there, and Malik Osborne reaching in, picking up that foul. Not sure that that was necessary because they had Devoe stopped and in a bad spot. Just sort of bailed him out with that foul.
Usher, nicely done.
It was a good cut. He caught the ball on the move instead of, trying to be a standstill shooter off of the penetration. Michigan does a great job of that, especially Franz Wagner catches the ball on the move. It's so difficult to guard.
Foul on Usher on the wing, trying to keep up with Osborne. Tough news for Michigan. We don't know the timeline really, but Isaiah Livers with a foot injury right now and did not play today, was wearing a boot, and that's obviously a concern going into the NCAA tournament.
And yet Michigan still had a shot to win at the end. Mike Smith took it. Maybe not the best shot, not what Juwan Howard would have drawn up, but they're a good offensive team without Isaiah Livers. They're elite offensively with him.
Barnes trying to back down Alvarado and turns it over. Devoe, nice little change of pace.
And you give Alvarado credit for essentially forcing that turnover. Scottie Barnes trying to do something against Alvarado because of the size difference, but I'm not sure the size difference isn't in Alvarado's favor. Give
Tech points at the other end. 18 Seminole turnovers, 23 points off them for the Jackets. And you know who loves that? All the folks who are, we hope, socially distancing at the watch party at McCamish Pavilion in Atlanta. 4 seed in the ACC, playing in the ACC championship game. We talked about the great tradition for Georgia Tech, some of Bobby Kremen's teams in the 80s and early 90s. Paul Hewitt, of course, coached the Jackets to the national championship game, lost to UConn in 2004, but it's been pretty lean for a number of years, and these are enjoyable times right now for fans of the Jackets.
Yeah, it looked like they were socially distancing, but they were also littering.
Scottie Barnes getting on the glass.
That young man has got a ton of ability and just scratching the surface of how good he is going to be in the future. When he adds a jump shot in, a reliable jumper to three-point range, forget it. Nice back cut by Alvarado.
Kyle Sturdivant, who has played sparingly off the bench, a nice find to Alvarado. Kicks it out to Usher for 3. Yes!
That's the overhelp. Everybody was inside the lane on that drive by Alvarado. Left Jordan Usher wide open, and it was Koprivica that had to recover to him, and that's just too long of a distance. Even for a 7-footer with good feet. Just another bad pass. My goodness.
Wright knocks it away. Another turnover. Sturdivant and a foul.
Part of that was the pass, and part of it was Koprivica did not hold off Moses Wright and post hard enough to get that ball.
A championship on the line in this conference, and a championship and a bid stealing opportunity on the line. And the last time Florida State won the ACC championship, 2012. Georgia Tech all the way back to 1993. A look at the last time each current member of the league won the title. A number of the current members have not won an ACC tournament championship. Of course, teams have come into this conference at different stages. The ACC was born in 1953 and play began in 1954. And Florida State trying to win the title for just the second time. They came into the league in 1992. Georgia Tech won 3 titles, all between 1985 and 1993. At the line is Kyle Sturdivant, a sophomore from Norcross, Georgia, transfer from USC, a member of the ACC All-Academic team. Do you know what he's majoring in?
I don't.
Aerospace engineering.
Of course he is.
So congratulations to him. I mean, I felt intimidated just saying it out loud.
I think there are only, I may be wrong in this, but I think there are only 2 majors at Georgia Tech, engineering and management. Seriously.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I mean, there may be different kinds of engineering, but I think you have to be good at math for engineering.
I would think that's a prerequisite. yeah. It's
another steal. My goodness. That is ridiculously good.
Usher ahead to Alvarado. More defense into offense. Jackets have the lead.
You can't dribble around that guy. He's like a defensive back that you can't, throw to the receiver he's covering. It's absurd.
20 turnovers in 30 minutes. It's a 13-2 Tech run.
He needs to have a monitoring device on to know where he is all the time.
Ooh, a foul. I think it's on Wright. And it is. Moses Wright didn't like the call. He's saying I got all ball.
He got a lot of ball.
Yep.
Unless there was.
It's the hand down low, the swipe right there.
If a guard had done that, they would not have called it. I promise you that. That's the old big man's not allowed to do that call. Holy cow.
And you can hear some booing in the arena. Again, just a couple of thousand people here. The Tech fans booing the call. It's the third on Wright. Again, the first time since 1996 that neither Duke nor North Carolina are in the ACC championship game. Kind of crazy when you think about it, that at least one of them has been in the final every year since then.
Pretty incredible level of high-level consistency, huh? Raekwon Evans trying to stay with Jose Alvarado.
Devoe guarded by Walker with the shot clock at 7. Wright trying to get a shot off over Koprivica. He does, but he can't hit it. And another Georgia Tech foul. And it'll be on Jordan Usher. That is the 4th team foul on the Jackets here in the second half. Florida State's committed 5.
And there is a long way to go in this one.
Momentum has definitely shifted in favor of Tech in recent minutes. Gray. And a block is the call.
Looked like he was in the restricted arc, at least close to it.
And Gray and Alvarado having some words.
Good call. I mean, most times when you're sliding in there as a secondary defender, it's going to be a block. Too many of them are called charges, but they're usually blocks.
Gray, an 80% free throw shooter, misses the first. He's been in double figures in 12 consecutive games, where he was before scoring 8 last night against Carolina. And again, a unique talent. Leads the team in rebounds, right up there in steals, leads them in free throws attempted and made. He does a lot of different things with his Seminole team.
Thought he should have been higher up on the all ACC teams. That both MJ Walker and Raekwon Gray should have been. Walker should have been first team, and at least Gray should have been second. But I think.
And they get Koprivica for a foul.
Dislodging, I guess. Trying to get position down low. But he wasn't going to get the ball from that angle.
We were talking about this before the game. One thing that works against the Florida State players is Leonard Hamilton plays so many different guys, and it's by design that some of their numbers don't stack up in certain categories because they just don't get the minutes. I think it's been 10 years since they had a first-team all-league player, and look at the team success they had.
Exactly. And that's sort of what a rebound. And that's sort of the issue. I mean, Virginia, it doesn't seem to hurt them that they play at a much slower pace, so their players don't have these scoring numbers that other teams would have. But I've not seen the voting, like not having a first teamer in I don't know how many years just strikes me as being a little bit crazy.
Well, I'll tell you this, back at Gaston College, where Leonard spent a couple of years, I know his coach didn't play 11 guys because Leonard scored 54 points in a game there before going to Tennessee Martin to play the next couple of years. And then went on. He's gone on to a brilliant coaching career. An assistant at Kentucky for 12 years from 74 through 86. The head coach at Oklahoma State. He was the first African-American head coach in basketball in what was then known as the Big Eight, then Miami, and now 19 years, Jay, at Florida State, and has had a ton of success.
That went off of M.J. Walker. Good thing Polite got that for the Seminoles. But what a good defensive possession for Georgia Tech. You know, when Leonard Hamilton was the head coach at Oklahoma State, he hired a pretty darn good coach as his assistant. It was his first coaching job. Bill Self.
Right. And he didn't have Koprivica on him, took advantage of the matchup and gives Tech the lead.
Really good job by Devoe to play off at 2 feet. Came to a 2-footed jump stop. Wow, how about that finish?
M.J. Walker ties it up.
That was just strength and athleticism. Finished with the left hand over the size of Moses Wright.
Scottie Barnes out on the perimeter guarding Michael Devoe right now. The importance of each possession growing by the minute, and we've got another Florida State foul. Koprivica again. 7:21 to go, all tied up in Greensboro between Florida State and Georgia Tech, and an ACC championship will be decided here tonight.
Does in college basketball compare with Colorado senior McKinley Wright?
Look, he has done everything in his career. He's broken Chauncey Billups' records at Colorado. The one thing he's never been called is a Pac-12 champion. He tries to lead Colorado there tonight. He's been sensational.
Oregon State tries to continue its Cinderella run, Dan and Jay.
7:21 to go. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Allison Williams tied at 50 in the ACC championship game. Here to Greensboro, Moses Wright at the line for the Jackets. And while we have a second before we get too deep into what is a very close game, and I know you would echo the sentiment, the people on our crew and every crew at every network who have found a way to put games on the air, who have built elaborate sets and hooked us up with broadcast from home kits and come up with technology that never existed before. It's been amazing what people have done to make this work, to get basketball games on television. There are bigger things going on in the world. We all understand that, but hopefully these have been, you know, a little bit of a distraction and a diversion. Now heading into a fun time of year, the NCAA tournament, and you know, speaking on behalf of all of us announcers, we've had the easy job. They've made things very easy on us by making it happen in ways that have never happened before.
I've always thought that our colleagues did a great job and an amazing job, but their job has become 10 times harder, and they do it with the same professionalism. It's amazing what they've accomplished, and we're very, very grateful.
Our crew being led by our producer Jeff Dufine, our director Doug Holmes. Outstanding crew from top to bottom as Michael Devoe knocks down a 3 and puts Tech on top.
You know, Tech can be aggressive because Georgia Tech or Florida State, every common foul, they're shooting free throws.
Alvarado pulled up for a 3, had a good look, but it's back over to Florida State.
That's how the game has changed over the years. That never would have happened 10, 15 years ago. Now that's a good shot.
Barnes using the Osborne screen, lays it in, and it's a 1-point game.
Georgia Tech getting a little spread out, and when Scottie Barnes got past, Jose Alvarado tried to reach from behind, and it's been successful, but if you don't get it, it's a layup. You know, Scottie Barnes is an elite talent. Long arm, great instincts, but a passer and a playmaker. And you know, just using that screen and got picked off, and Moses Wright not connected. You know, if he's going to play on that side, then Jose Alvarado's got to force him to use Barnes to use the screen. Just a miscommunication defensively.
We will cap off Champ Week tomorrow on ESPN at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. The SEC Championship. LSU taking on Alabama. LSU beating Arkansas today. Alabama over Tennessee. And then the final automatic ticket will be punched by the winner of the Air Force Reserve American Championship at 3:15 Eastern Time. Cincinnati and Houston. The Bearcats trying to steal a bid.
Houston is a remarkable team. They don't shoot a great percentage, but they're so good defensively, and their offensive rebounding is right up there with North Carolina with their ability to get second shots. You would never think that a team that shoots the percentages that Houston does would be as efficient offensively, but those second shots they get are high percentage second shots.
Foul on Alvarado, the 6th team foul on the Jackets, and another turnover, the 23rd time.
And that was pretty simple, Dan. That was just an out-of-bounds underplay, and they went into some flex action. They got a little baseline cut and then a down screen for the original screener, and Osborne was wide open.
Previous season high in turnovers was 21, and that also came against Georgia Tech. And then, Devoe threw his legs off his foot and out of bounds.
Yeah, a little bit too much dribbling. Easy to say after you dribble it out of bounds, but yeah, you're trying to attack that Florida State defense off the initial side, and the defense is set, and you're not going to have a good result, or as good of a result as if you move the ball from side to side and then attack.
A very experienced Georgia Tech team, and a fair bit of experience, of course, on Florida State as well. The guy with the ball is a freshman, but he doesn't often play like it as Barnes leads the Seminoles into the front court.
You wonder if Georgia Tech's going to stick with this man-to-man, because they're giving up drives, and they were really seemed more successful going to that hybrid sort of matchup zone.
And you can see why Raquan Gray gets to the line more than anybody else on the team. When he puts the ball on the deck, and he's a good ball handler, like, don't judge him by his size, but when he puts the ball on the deck, he does a good job getting where he wants to get, and it's hard to avoid fouling him with his size.
Yeah, when he picks up speed, he puts you to a decision. Do I want to make a defensive play, or do I want to remain a healthy human being that is not in traction?
Yes. Third foul on Jordan Usher. Usher and Wright with 3 for the Yellow Jackets. A trio of Seminoles have 3, including Gray. Nobody's got 4 in the game.
Cedar Calhoun guarding Alvarado. Good back cut. That's just beautiful. My goodness.
Sturdivant to Alvarado, and the lead is 4.
Sturdivant can come in and handle the ball. Alvarado can play off the ball. But that back cut wasn't 1,000 miles an hour. He stopped when he was open.
And it looks like Gray's trying to take matters into his own hands. Couldn't finish it. Usher. And he got fouled. I think they'll get polite. Looked like he got tripped.
But he picked up the first down. Usher has been aggressive. Calhoun, wow, right in front of him. There's a lot. I don't think anybody's going to question whether that was a foul, but take a look at this back cut by Jose Alvarado. But he stopped and he stopped as soon as he knew he was open, instead of, because otherwise he would have run right into the back of Scottie Barnes and not gotten the ball. Just a really intelligent play by Jose Alvarado.
It's up to you. You get a band-aid. Hang on a second. Come on.
People must hate him at the Y during a lunch game.
Alvarado?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's probably one of those guys that would, deny the entry pass when you're just trying to get a run in at lunch.
Right. Usher bleeding. Boy, he looked like he rolled the ankle. He's okay. He got knocked into Calhoun, got knocked down. Man.
2 shots, right? Cuff. 2. Here we go.
Yeah, that was a real foul. 1, 2. He got fouled by a bunch of people.
Remember what Josh Pastner said about Jose Alvarado. He needs winning more than he needs breathing. That's the kind of will to win that Alvarado has.
I don't think you should have to choose. Boy, Usher's been really good over his last 4 games, I think. Yeah. 15.5 points. 26 of 47 from the field coming into this one, averaging a couple of steals per game over that 4-game period.
Usher and Devoe can sometimes get a little bit lost because of Alvarado and Wright and all the acclaim that they've deservedly gotten this year.
Yes. Good problem to have when you have a team full of guys that can make plays.
Wide open look. Walker. Yes.
That is not going to end well. When MJ Walker can measure a 3, forget it. And he's made over 80 threes on the season. And he can make challenge threes. You don't get that much time to shoot in warm-ups or in a game of horse.
Into the final 4 minutes in a 1-possession game with a championship on the line. Rebound down to Wright. And a foul. Wow. 3:44 to go. The Jackets by 3. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by New York Life, helping people act on their love. Them to 3 titles. So now Josh Pastner and the Jackets, Leonard Hamilton and the Noles into the last 4 minutes in a 1-possession game.
Well, you think about all the great guards that Georgia Tech has had over the years. Just an amazing list of accomplished backcourt stars. And Josh Pastner was telling us the other day that Jose Alvarado gets more loose balls than any, has to get more loose balls, more 50-50 balls than any guard in Georgia Tech history. Now, the one I thought of was Bruce Dalrymple, who I'm not sure there's ever been a tougher guard that's worn a Georgia Tech uniform than Bruce Dalrymple. But I'd have to agree with Josh that he'd be right up there as far as getting loose balls, getting steals. He's just not as big and strong and nearly as good a rebounder as Dalrymple was.
Jay, that's 24 turnovers. It's incredible.
It is absolutely incredible. And you give Georgia Tech all the credit. I mean, I know that's not the way Florida State's going to look at it, but I don't think it's a coincidence that they had 21 last time. They got 24 now.
What a strong drive and finish by the player of the year in the ACC, Moses Wright.
It's like he held the ball for a while, and Florida State decided they were going to deny everybody else, and then Moses Wright made the winning move on that. It's a great play.
Walker, no. Rebound to Barnes, and it's 6-9. He easily lays it back in.
Well, he kept it high. A lot of players would have brought that down. You bring it down against Georgia Tech, and that is going to be yet another theft. A difficult shot. And it looked like Georgia Tech was going to have a chance at a rebound, but it looked like Devoe might have knocked it over there. But that's a terrific drive past a good defender, Malik Osborne. And Florida State fortunate that they didn't put him on the free throw line with a made basket.
Still to come tonight, the Pac-12 championship game. Dave Pasch and Bill Walton will have Oregon State and Colorado for you. Buffaloes are in, Beavers are not unless they win tonight. So if you are a fan of a bubble team, this is a game you need to keep an eye on. The tip is scheduled for 10 minutes from now, 10:40 Eastern, 7:40 Pacific.
McKinley Wright, the point guard for Colorado, is just a great player. I think he's put his name up with Chauncey Billups and Jay Humphreys, you know, among the great Colorado guards. I'm not saying he'll be as good a pro as those two. Jay Humphreys went to Inglewood High School in Los Angeles, played in the same backcourt with Ralph Jackson.
Sturdivant getting some crunch time minutes. So yeah, great drive and dish. Oh! Oh, the finish.
The shot fake and above the rim finish. Just beautiful.
Polite with the answer at the other end, but what a moment for Jordan Usher.
If I take that chance, just where's it gonna lead? Jordan Usher. Deep corner, Sturdivant, shot fake, and goes right, but you talk about attacking a closeout, and that's over Raekwon Gray. My goodness. Oh, they don't make posters anymore, but that would make a good one. It's more an Instagram.
Yeah. And all his teammates on the bench, they were up and jumping even before he slammed it home. They knew what was coming.
I think there's more littering in McCamish going on right now.
Wow, that was something.
Oh, what a play. And in a game where we're getting down to the end, and that's an energy-giving play to Georgia Tech, and it may be a little bit deflating to Florida State.
2:10 to go. Tech with a 4-point lead and the ball.
But Sturdivant's done a nice job coming in, handling the ball, and letting Alvarado play off the ball.
And a foul. You know, they really rely so heavily on 4 players: Alvarado, Wright, Devoe, and Usher. They get a little bit here from Moore, a little bit from Howard, a little bit from Parham, and a little bit from Sturdivant. But all 4 of those guys have contributed, and Sturdivant delivering big time here at crunch time.
We had 15 points in that win against Kentucky. He shoots about 75-76% from the line. He's been in control of the ball when he's been in the game.
Five-point lead. 2 minutes to go.
Georgia Tech's going to stay in man. Got to drive the ball. Got to switch now. Alvarado. Look at him sitting on Koprivica. Just gets in front of him, sits on his legs.
That's 6 foot guarding 7-1. Rebound down to Usher. And now can they be a little bit patient here with the lead?
They should be a lot patient.
Boy, he is strong with the ball.
He stays low.
Yeah.
Now he's got Koprivica on him.
Drive and kick. Usher. And another foul, this one on Koprivica. That'll be his 4th. Usher heading to the line.
Usher kept his dribble. Looked like he was going to go to the other side of the basket. If it wasn't there, just take it all the way to the opposite side.
You know, Seth Greenberg made the point during halftime. One of the tough things about playing Georgia Tech is when you don't have a lot of time to prepare for them, and somebody's going to be in that situation in the NCAA tournament. You haven't played them before. Maybe you're getting them in the second game when you've only got 36, 48 hours to prepare for the changing defenses.
A little bit like preparing for Louisville when Pitino was there, or maybe Syracuse in a way. You're going up against a defense that you don't see often. And Josh Pastner, when he's in that zone, he knows he's playing against your second best offense. Don't have to guard as many ball screens.
Barnes, tough shot. Koprivica blocked. Polite lays it in. Timeout, Florida State.
Well, look how hard Florida State had to work just to get that. And that was the Moses Wright that's on the all-defensive team, and the ACC Player of the Year, Moses Wright. Now, he did not play well against Miami, but he has played well in this one. This has been a total team effort. Contributions from everyone in blue.
And again, the big story is all of the turnovers, and so many of them, Jay, have been live ball turnovers. They have been steals, not just, you know, traveling or dribbling it out of bounds. And when you get live ball turnovers, it's usually 2 points at the other end.
Yeah, you're going, live ball turnover means you're going against a scrambling defense that isn't set. And oftentimes you're able to play ahead of your opponent's defense. There are more white shirts behind the ball than in front of it. And that's advantage Georgia Tech. And boy, when you think you're past Jose Alvarado, forget it. He's almost like Muggsy Bogues in his ability to steal the ball. But Bogues was a lot smaller, obviously, at 5'3".
14 steals tonight for the Jackets. That ties a record for an ACC championship game. Not the kind of record that Florida State wants to set. The most turnovers this program has ever had in the ACC tournament. This is still a really, really good team and a very dangerous team, regardless of what happens here in the next 64 seconds. A very good team heading into the NCAA tournament. You know, Leonard Hamilton, 3 years ago, Elite Eight, 2 years ago, Sweet 16. Last year, ACC regular season champs. This year, finished second in the league. They've got a great culture of winning right now in Tallahassee. Another foul, this one on Walker, and that'll send Sturdivant back to the line.
Sturdivant does a really good job, not only of coming to the ball, but coming to the ball and then angling out so he can catch it on the move. He doesn't just come up, catch it with his back to the defense, and all of a sudden he can get trapped. Ball can get tied up.
4th on Walker. One more note about Alvarado. We talked about all the minutes he plays. He has not come out of this game, Jay. He's played all 39 minutes.
Why would you take him out?
Back to 7. precious seconds are ticking away. Won't go down, but Barnes will be at the line.
Boy, Georgia Tech has had some really good contributions to this game. Jordan Usher's played well, 15 points. Moses Wright has been impactful, 3 blocked shots, 8 rebounds, 13 points, and then Michael Devoe has been excellent. 18 points, 7 out of 10 from the field. Point in so many different. I'm not sure anybody's been more impactful though than Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, 4 steals and who knows how many other deflections and just, you know, messing up the rhythm of the Florida State offense just by being him.
It's almost like he's an option quarterback. He can run it, he can hand it off, he can throw it. And then he plays both ways. Then he goes in at defensive back and disrupts the other team.
Yeah, never takes a play off. 5-point game.
Passing and catching, that's what it's about right now for Georgia Tech.
Good job to get it over by Alvarado. A foul or play it out? Timeout called by Devoe.
A smart play. He had it in a bad spot along the sideline where he could get trapped and maybe turn it over. It's a smart play to call timeout.
Well, the Seminoles knew what they were getting into with Jose Alvarado, but they have had the full force of the Alvarado experience tonight, Jay.
Well, he's been so disruptive, and his emotion is energy giving to his team. The deflections, the times he makes you turn your back, and then if you lose sight of him, you're probably hearing his footsteps because you know he's around. And just a terrific backdoor cut there. A dribble at, the ball was being dribbled at him by Sturdivant, and he went backdoor, but it was a purposeful cut. Zero turnovers.
Yeah, hasn't come out of the game, hasn't turned it over, 4 steals. And more of an impact than his numbers would suggest, as he is tonight's player of the game. Brought to you by Kubota.
Yeah, his impact on the game, I believe, went far beyond his numbers on the stat sheet.
And he's going to the line.
New York City point guard.
Four-year starter for the Jackets. And his team, if they could take care of the ball and knock down some free throws, on the cusp of an ACC championship. Let's send it quickly to Kevin Connors back in the studio.
And, Dan, we want to let you know Colorado, Oregon State underway right now over on ESPN News. The Pac-12 championship on the line. The Beavers trying to continue their magical run against a steady Buffs team. You'll see it next year on ESPN.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Florida State with a lay-in by Scottie Barnes. The Seminoles are out of timeouts. It's a 5-point game as Tech gets ready to inbound.
But Florida State still with an opportunity. 31.6. You can extend this one.
Ooh. Did he get it in time? Yeah, he did.
Yes, he can move. They say he can't move. Of course he can move. He can go.
Yeah.
It was after a score.
Yeah. Boy, the whole bench. I think it was the hop that looked unusual, and it just kind of shook everybody up for a second. But that all appeared to be okay. It was just a question of the time. Yeah,
there's no rule that says you can't leave the floor when you inbound the ball.
Just don't leave your feet. Because then you'll have to come back.
That would be ugly. Yeah.
Right at the line. A guy who's had to play against bigger people a lot this year, somewhat playing out of position at the 5 spot more often than not, and still put up incredible numbers on the season. 3rd in the league in scoring, 4th in rebounding.
He had a couple of games where he went 30 and 16 and 29 and 14. Those ridiculous numbers down the stretch.
If you're Tech now, you just don't want to foul. Make sure the clock keeps running. Another lay-in for Barnes. And they'll foul Alvarado.
And they're fouling a great free throw shooter, so getting the ball into Alvarado's hands is a big deal. You want his decision making, one, but you also want his ability to step to the line and with ice in his veins knock down free throws.
It's kind of hard to find something he doesn't do well. He gets to the rim, he shoots threes, he's a great free throw shooter, he's a terrific defender.
I hear he's a messy roommate. It's easy to say, well, he's a heartbeat of the team, heart and soul, all that stuff, but it's true. Look at the free throw disparity. I mean, that just shows the difference in aggressiveness from Florida State and Georgia Tech in this one.
Need a three?
You don't need one, but if you can, I don't think Georgia Tech should come off of a three-point shooter. Force the drive. If you give up a two, fine.
Barnes for three. One possession game. And they're swarming Sturdivant. The ball is loose. Oh, and then a hard foul as Walker and Alvarado were both going after the ball, and Alvarado and Walker are both still down.
I don't know why they wouldn't call a foul earlier. I mean, Florida State is trying to foul, and there's contact, and the referees didn't call it. That's interesting. Watch Anthony Polite here. He is trying to give the foul a little bit earlier than that, but obviously that's a foul on Walker. Fortunate that Alvarado seems to be okay, but from the time the ball was inbounded, I mean, they were trying to foul. I mean, that's a foul there. I mean, how many times do they have to foul him before you're going to give it?
The foul on MJ Walker, that's his fifth. He is out of the game. And Alvarado calmly sinks the first to make it a two-possession game.
And part of the problem with not calling the foul when they should have is who's stepping to the line.
86% on the season, 5-point lead.
Ice water, just ice water. Already gave him the player of the game, and he keeps proving it.
Right. Oh, and look what he did. How fitting is that? Georgia Tech has won the ACC championship. How fitting was that Alvarado came up with a steal in the manner in which he did at that moment.
Well, the game's not over yet. There's still some time left on the clock. What a play by Alvarado, and you're exactly right. How fitting that this game should end with Alvarado making the defensive play.
We are told a technical foul has been called on Georgia Tech. We'll try to find out.
They probably
storming the court. Yeah.
I mean, the referees have to do it. It's part of the rules. They get judged on this stuff. I can't imagine they wanted to do that.
Yeah. All it's doing, of course, is delaying the inevitable. The celebration is about to begin. Alvarado with the steal right at the end after hitting a couple of free throws. And Josh Pastner, in his 5th year as the head coach of the Ramblin' Wreck, has guided his team to an ACC tournament championship. And you know what? They earned it. Leonard Hamilton's got a great team, and they got all kinds of things to be excited about heading to Indianapolis. But boy, the party's going to be on for this, figuratively speaking, hopefully only, and for this Georgia Tech team. They earned every bit of this tonight. "28 years since Georgia Tech has been crowned the champions of this conference."
And a championship won in total team fashion. Behind a great leader, this BJ.